weeks after the tragic death of soldiers in Niger, the White House resident got around to calling the widow of Sergeant LaDavid T. Johnson. And according to Florida Congresswoman Frederica Wilson, who was in the car with the widow, he apparently forgot the soldier's name and mentioned that he must have known what he signed up for. We'll be talking to the Congresswoman live at some point.
Today? I hope.
Today.
Yeah.
But what do you make of this?
Well, I said yesterday that, you know, how sincere can a call seem after you as a you know, someone who's lost someone is sitting at home watching this play out, and the president saying, I had to ask people, I didn't know if I should call, you know, and if he indeed did say he knows what he signed up for, I'd like to just ask the president, does he know what he signed up for? Because this is what you do when people lay their lives down for us. Like, that's what you do.
Well, he never signed up for going to the Army because he had bone spurs.
Yeah.
So it's very touchy to Americans. It should be when he does something wrong with our service people. You know, I thought he had the best words. He has the worst words.
Well,
he says, I have the best words.
Not to call if this is what he's going to say.
And I think, you know, anyone that has military family members, and especially family members that have been in combat, those calls mean a lot, but you're grieving. I remember when my cousin, we were raised as siblings, I got a call that he had been injured very badly overseas. And you all have met him.
Yeah.
He lost his hand. He became terribly disfigured, and that call, it's heart-wrenching, and I remember it to this day. And to have someone be insensitive during that call, I can't imagine what it would feel like.
I mean, this is a really hard one for me on a lot of different levels. The first thing I want to say is we don't know the context of this phone call. I don't know exactly. Both of them say they have proof of what was said. I would love to hear that proof. I know the mother of the widow has confirmed what the Congresswoman said, but President Trump also could have possibly been recording this, so I would like to hear the context of that call. Politicizing military deaths on both sides is a new low for America right now and every level. You know, it's also personal for me. Like, the worst day of my entire life, ever, worse than my father's cancer diagnosis, was when my brother deployed the first time when he was 17 and I was 19. I can still remember standing on Camp Pendleton, watching the buses go with people that looked like kids, 14 years old. I know they weren't, but they looked like babies. And I know what it feels like to be like, every phone call, did Jimmy die? Did he blow up? Is this what's happening? So I think sometimes it's easy when we're having conversations like this to forget, as you know, there are real people happening that this happens to. This widow is going through indescribable pain right now.
She's 6 months pregnant.
But talking about it right now feels so inappropriate for me.
But he says that he has proof. You know, he said he had proof of the conversation he had with Comey. We never saw that. He has proof of his taxes. We never saw those.
She has proof.
What are the... Well, right. But I mean, the point is, when he writes, I have proof, a lot of his supporters believe it, and then move on and forget about it. Where's the proof? I want to see it.
But this just happened, I will say, and that I would like to hear, but they both sides say they have proof. And again, if the Congresswoman comes and says, here's the recording, here's what he said, and it is as craven as it's coming out in the media, the problem is she's part of the resistance. She didn't vote for President Trump. She didn't attend the inauguration. There's politics playing on both sides. And again, someone died for our freedom to sit here on this show right now.
Yes.
So let's really talk about what...
So, look, all I can say is, have you no shame, sir? Have you no shame? Have you no shame? I mean, that you would bring up, I can't, because I'm infuriated, you know.
But you also love the troops. It's one of the first conversations.
I love my troops, and I'll tell you why, because I grew up in Chelsea, right here in New York, and we sent many to fight in Vietnam. And some came back and did terrible things to themselves. Terrible things to themselves. So for me, if your kids haven't gone, or you didn't go, I need you to have a whole different mindset with the folks who went. Even if you, whatever our politics is, whatever the politics is, this is the one place we should all be able to say, hey, we're going to stand up and salute We're going to pay attention because these people went and did what we didn't, what he certainly didn't. And whether he, you know, was cavalier or whatever, you must, in talking to people whose families have gone to fight for this country, you must have empathy. You must remember who these people are. And I'm like this in part, my hands are like this in part because, you know, you just received a thinly veiled threat from the new guy over a speech that he gave after he received the Liberty Medal.
My family.
So take a look.
Yeah.
Use the obligations of international leadership and our duty to remain the last best hope of Earth for the sake of some half-baked, spurious nationalism cooked up by people who would rather find scapegoats than solve problems.
You heard what he said yesterday, Senator McCain.
Yeah, well, I hear it, and people have to be careful because at some point I fight back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm being very nice. I'm being very, very nice. But at some point I fight back, and it won't be pretty.
Oh, shut up.
Mister, again, all I can say is, have you no shame?
No.
Have you no shame? Have you no shame? Damn. You know, you tweeting about the NFL, man. What are you doing? Bonehead.
Your father should say it. You know. Remember when he attacked John McCain and he said, "I like heroes." I think he used the word heroes or whatever. Soldiers who haven't been captured. Well, you know, your father might say, "I like presidents who haven't been helped by the Russians." Who actually win an election legitimately. That would be refreshing.
Oh my gosh. Listen, I was here with you guys yesterday when this story broke, and I hate this fighting between my father and President Trump, because when you're talking about service and things like that, I just find it so deeply sacred, and this is highly politicized. My father and President Trump have deep disagreements on the future of America, deep disagreements on the role of America globally, about the role of the Republican Party and whom should be leading it. And my father, God love him, he's 81 years old, fighting brain cancer, still out there having something to say.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud. So, you know, there's a complete lack of courage in D.C. right now on all sides all the way around. A lack of courage to go up and stand for what you believe in. And for me,
Well, it's not on all sides. I have to correct you a little bit, because the Democrats have no power right now. The Republicans have all the power.
There's no
They're
courage
the
on
ones
all
who need
sides.
to show courage.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Well, we shouldn't be surprised at this president, because remember what he did to the Gold Star family.
Yeah.
Remember what he said, the cons. Remember what he said, you know, about your father. He also served, and he went to military school, and he said he got better training there than he would have gotten in the military. So this is someone who's been very dismissive
He said his
of the
Vietnam
military.
was avoiding STDs.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Something
he
to that
did.
effect.
So
Tell me
this
the
is
exact.
someone that I'm just not surprised. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if he has the proof, but I would not be surprised if it were true, because this is the level of discourse that comes from this White House.
But it's, you know, I go back to John Boehner and President Obama. The Republicans ran John Boehner out of there. Remember that?
Yeah.
They ran him out for a myriad of reasons, but a big reason because he pissed Mitch McConnell off by sitting with Obama to try to figure out what to do. To me, you can't run off the people who are actually trying to help. Those two guys were trying to work together and could have really showed us a better way to do stuff. And now we're sort of like this all the time, and I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate this jacket. Okay. Oh, wait. The Florida Congresswoman, Frederica Wilson, who was in the car during the phone call with him,
This is emotional for everyone.
It is emotional for us as well. And she's here to tell us what happened. She was in the car. We'll be right back.